Have you ever wondered how a single piece of paper in a merchant's hand could command an entire ship to set sail across dangerous oceans, carrying treasures worth kingdoms? What if I told you that the very phone in your hand, the coffee you sip every morning, and the clothes you wear all owe their existence to an invisible force that has been evolving for over 5,000 years? This is the untold story of trade finance, a story filled with secret deals, ancient innovations, and modern technologies that move trillions of dollars every single day without you even noticing. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll never look at global trade the same way again. Trade has always been the lifeblood of human civilization, shaping societies, building empires, and transforming the way nations interact with each other. But how did it all begin? Imagine a world without money, without banks. Just farmers, hunters, and craftsmen exchanging what they had for what they needed. The earliest trade relied on barter. A farmer with surplus grain might trade it for tools from a blacksmith or furs from a hunter. But there was one big problem. Both parties had to want what the other offered at the same time. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants. Without it, trade often stalled. And that's what led to one of humanity's greatest breakthroughs, the invention of money. The first forms of money weren't shiny coins or crisp banknotes. They were simple but powerful objects of agreed-upon value: shells, beads, even livestock. In Mesopotamia around 3000 BCE, silver and grain became trusted mediums of exchange, unlocking the first large-scale trade networks. Soon after, ancient merchants came up with something even more radical: clay tablets inscribed with promises to pay. Picture this: a merchant boards a ship with no gold, just a clay tablet stating he will settle his debt when he reaches the next port. Risky? Absolutely. Revolutionary? Without a doubt. Fast forward to the Roman and Greek empires. Trade was booming, and the need for safe, reliable ways to pay across long distances gave rise to early versions of letters of credit. Roman merchants could buy goods in one part of the empire and pay later in another, without carrying chests of coins that could attract thieves. These instruments worked on trust, backed by imperial law, and breaking that trust could mean severe punishments, even death. By the Middle Ages, the game had changed again. The Italian city-states, Venice, Genoa, Florence, became the Silicon Valleys of their time, inventing financial tools that powered global commerce. The Bill of Exchange allowed merchants to pay each other later and across borders, creating a system far safer than moving gold along dangerous trade routes. Families like the Medicis didn't just trade, they built empires of finance, creating double-entry bookkeeping and laying the foundation for modern banking. Meanwhile, the Silk Road and the Hanseatic League turned cities like Lübeck and Hamburg into global hubs. A single roll of silk could sell for its weight in gold in Europe, and trade finance was the invisible engine that made it possible. Then came the age of exploration. European powers hungry for spices, gold, and exotic goods formed the first multinational corporations, the Dutch East India Company and the British East India Company. They didn't just send ships, they created the world's first stock exchanges, raised money from thousands of investors, and even wrote their own rules of trade finance. Marine insurance emerged to protect cargoes, and for the first time in history, ordinary citizens could buy shares in voyages that crossed the globe. Did you know the Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602, was the first in history to issue public shares? That one innovation planted the seed for every stock market you see today.
The Industrial Revolution then supercharged trade finance. Steamships and telegraphs shrank the world, making it possible to send payments and shipments faster than ever. Letters of credit became the gold standard of trade, recognized in ports from London to Shanghai. Banks expanded their roles, offering trade loans, overdrafts, and even financing entire industrial supply chains. In the 19th century, a single signature in London could guarantee payment in Cape Town or Bombay without the sender ever leaving Europe. Imagine that level of global trust long before emails, before the internet, before modern communications. The 20th century pushed the system into the modern era. 2 world wars disrupted trade, but also inspired new frameworks, The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and later the World Trade Organization were established to stabilize and expand global commerce. The Bretton Woods system pegged currencies to the US dollar, bringing temporary predictability. By the 1970s, the SWIFT network transformed trade finance by allowing banks to send secure payment instructions across borders in seconds. What once took weeks of letters and ships could now happen almost instantly. As globalization took off, trade finance evolved beyond single transactions. Supply chain finance emerged, financing everything from raw materials to finished products on your shelves. The internet began replacing paperwork with digital bills of lading. Artificial intelligence entered the scene, crunching mountains of data to assess risks in milliseconds. Today, your online purchase of a handmade rug from Morocco may trigger an entire invisible process. A credit check by an AI, a bank guarantee in your country, an insurance contract in Europe, and a blockchain payment system that confirms delivery in real time. And speaking of blockchain, this technology might be the single most revolutionary force trade finance has ever seen. With distributed ledger technology, a shipment can be tracked and paid for automatically using smart contracts. No human signatures, no stacks of paper, no waiting weeks for clearance. In some parts of the world, this isn't the future. It's already happening. Entire trade deals are now being executed digitally, fraud is dropping, and settlement times are being slashed from weeks to hours.
But not everything is smooth sailing. The 2008 financial crisis made banks more cautious, tightening access to trade finance for small and medium-sized businesses. Geopolitical tensions and global events like pandemics have shown that no matter how sophisticated our systems become, trade is always vulnerable to disruption. Yet, the story of trade finance is a story of adaptation. From clay tablets to artificial intelligence, it has never stopped evolving. Look around you. That coffee cup? It may have been financed through a letter of credit from a bank in New York, insured by a firm in London, and shipped using a blockchain-tracked container from Colombia. The phone in your pocket. It represents hundreds of financial transactions across dozens of countries, all powered by systems you rarely see but rely on every single day. Here's a staggering fact. Up to 80% of all global trade depends on some form of trade finance, and yet most people don't even know it exists. The future is even more fascinating. Central bank digital currencies might soon replace traditional payment systems. Internet of Things sensors will trigger automatic financing as goods move through supply chains. Artificial intelligence will flag risks before they happen, and smart contracts will release payments in seconds. Imagine a world where a factory in Vietnam sends sneakers to Los Angeles, and the moment those sneakers pass through a customs scanner, payment is triggered instantly. No waiting, no manual paperwork, no middlemen. From barter to blockchain, the evolution of trade finance tells the story of humanity's endless drive to trade, connect, and create. It is the invisible network that built the modern world, and it's far from finished. The next chapter might be written by the innovators watching this very video, people like you who dared to imagine faster, safer, and more open ways to move value across borders. So here's the question. The next time you buy something as simple as a cup of coffee or as big as a new car, will you stop and think about the incredible journey that made that trade possible? And more importantly, will you share this story so others can see how our world really works behind the scenes? If this journey opened your eyes, hit that share button, subscribe for more untold stories of how the world is built, and let's keep uncovering the invisible systems that shape our future together.